You're listening to Guts and Grind with Siju and Sajan, making the real estate journey accessible to anyone.
All right, welcome back to the Guts and Grind podcast. We are on episode 30. I can't believe it. And this week's episode is all about how to find a realtor. But first of all, my name is Siju Koshi. I am here joined with Sajan Abraham, my co-host. And as I mentioned, so finding a realtor, our last episode was all about how to find a good lender. And just as important is to find a really good realtor, because they're the one that's going to help find you the property that you're looking for, and for sure, at least get it under contract. So it's a super important step in this journey we're looking at when we're talking about buying an investment property or just a home in general. And just like your lender, family recommendations or friend recommendations of realtors that they've used is super important, because you already know they have some sort of credibility, and you're kind of driving that credibility through your family and friends network and using those same realtors. And much like that, you can reach out to Saj or myself. Obviously, we've been in the game for a while, through these platforms. If you ever want to message us or comment and say, hey, who do you use? We're willing to share. We're always about sharing what we have, who we've used. And honestly, it's actually it's a shameless plug for our resources, right? And it kind of helps them build their businesses too. So it's more like networking, and you'll find this journey of just finding these different resources is all about networking, right? And of course, you can Google search a lot of these people, but recommendations. And once you've built those relationships, much like a lender, they'll know what you're looking for. They'll know your rhythm. They'll know your cadence of how do you want to make those moves in real estate.
For sure. To piggyback on that, starting off, when I started this whole game, I always thought that all realtors are created equal. And that is not the case. That is just, there's some people that have been in the game for a long time. There's some people that are fresh in the game. There's some people that specialize in just residential, like, hey, you're trying to move into a house, so let me find you your dream house. And there's some that are like investor friendly that know exactly what to go for. There's some that focus on wholesaling and like, hey, this is a very crappy house, but you could inject this much money and turn it around and make a profit and blah, blah, blah. So there's different elements that create the type of realtor that you're looking for, right? And so you have to know what you're looking for, right? And so with that said, I think it's important that you interview the realtor that you're potentially going to work with. It's a partnership, right? You have to work with these people and they have to know what you want. So it's important that you know what you want. And so once you have an idea of like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and this is why, then you start hunting down the realtor, right? So you could ask questions like, what's their approach on investing in real estate? Or do they even manage properties? Or do they even own rental properties, right? Because if they own it, they know the game. Like they know how the rhythm works, right? Whereas like if it's a realtor that's doing it as their 9-to-5 job, they're just processing the contracts to be able to purchase a home. That's great. Like that has its own place. But if you're trying to be an investor, you need someone that's going to be your partner and bring value to your system, right? And so I would highly recommend, the first thing is you have to know what you want, right? And once you establish what you need in your business, then you find the right partner, and your realtor is your partner. Sid, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I think you hit it right on the nail. Every realtor is not created equal. You're looking at a realtor. I am a realtor myself. I will not say, hey, Saj, if you want to sell a house, come to me. That's just not what I do, right? I obviously have a job myself. I got my realtor license for myself because I actually do hunt down my own deals and I close my own deals. But, every agent, and I feel like everybody's an agent nowadays, right? So everybody's a real estate agent, but you are completely right in the sense that there are people that are very investor friendly, just like lenders are. It's so funny that I feel like lenders and realtors are kind of, when we talk about these topics, they're kind of hand in hand. A lot of the points that we kind of mentioned on the last episode really, translate over to the realtor side too, because, once you build that relationship with them and you find that investor friendly realtor or whoever it is, they know what you're looking for. They know what market you're looking at, what areas you're looking at. And so it will take some time to kind of find the right one. And obviously, recommendations and there's also people that specialize in certain areas, right? You can't find a realtor from Austin to say, hey, I'm looking to invest in Houston. They don't know the market. The markets are so different. Even within a metroplex of like Houston, the markets are so different. And so if you don't have people that know the areas, it could be an issue. But trust me, that's something that you can easily overcome. And that those are things that just come with time and meeting people and kind of talking through networking with the right area, the agents.
I do a lot of hunting myself, right? I look for properties myself, but I'm not a realtor. I have the ability to get the license to be a realtor, but I see value in having a third party, another set of eyes to be able to run it by, right? I want someone that's smarter than me in that world to be able to say, this is a good deal, go for it right now. It kind of builds a little bit of confidence for myself to be able to say, hey, move forward. And so like, but you might be built differently. Like Siju, like he mentioned, he's a realtor. He does it all himself. And so he doesn't need that extra push. He's like self-driven. Let me do it by myself. And that's awesome, you know? But for me, like I use a realtor that's investor friendly, that knows my needs to be able to, as a sounding board, at the very least, to be able to say, is this a good deal? I think it's a good deal. I've done all the numbers. I ran all my numbers and I feel like it's great, but it's always good to have like a third party to come in and say, oh no, you missed this part, or, oh, you're on the wrong side of the tracks. You're not going to get that kind of rent. Things like that are invaluable. Previously, we talked about the lender, right? And the lender is extremely important because you need the funds to be able to do that, right? But to a certain extent, that's a processing element of your business, right? Like you're just processing the loan and making that happen. With the realtor, there's processing involved, but there's also communications and like the understanding of like, what am I missing? Like, what's the rent's going to be? What's the price going to be? What's the, like all these different elements that you're going to be working very closely with your realtor when it comes to finding these properties. And so you want to be able to have a good relationship with that person, and you want to make sure that that person knows your goals and they could execute on what you need to make happen. You don't want to overpay on things, and like they would give you that advice, right? So yeah, like I think a realtor, it's something you should spend time on as far as like finding the right one, find the right fit. I think I mentioned before, like a lender's not a marriage, and I don't want to say a realtor is a marriage, but it's closer. It's closer to a marriage than a lender, right? Because like you're working hand in hand. Like I said before, it's a partnership, and if you view your real estate business as a business, you want to have the right players in the game, and you don't want to be the smartest man in the room. You want your realtor to be very knowledgeable about the real estate stuff, and you want your lender to be very knowledgeable about the lending stuff. You're putting the pieces of the puzzle together to make it happen for your business.
Yeah, and I used to think like, man, everybody's a real estate agent. It's easy to be a real estate agent. It's
Sure.
not easy. A real estate agent is a career, and the
Yeah.
people that actually do it as their 9 to 5, I have the most utmost respect for them, because it is very hard, and the game has changed. The game is completely changed in this digital age. Like, I mean, you have to be able to, virtually stage your house, virtually have tours. I mean, there's an art to the way you market your properties. Even, let's just say, the realtor is very important getting the when you purchase your house, but then it's also whenever you go to rent it out, right? I mean, there's the one putting it out on the market, so you got to kind of keep that in mind from beginning to end. Your realtor's there not just to help you to buy it, but eventually rent it out for you if you're going to use it as an investment property too. So, man, the real estate agent game is a legit career, and like you have to kind of find those guys that actually do this for a day in, day out job, right? And that makes a huge difference.
So to piggyback on that, don't undercut your realtor. Like pay them what they need to be paid. Don't try to say, oh, you're getting 6%, why don't you just knock it down? Like they work very hard. Like I've taken my realtor to so many properties that I'd never bought. Like he showed me so many properties that I did not buy. But when it came to the ones that I did buy, it was worth it for him, right? And so I don't try to undercut them. Let them be paid what they need to be paid, because you want to build that relationship and you want to make sure your people are happy, right? Again, this is a business, and you're trying to make sure I don't want to say they're your employees, but to a certain extent that they're helping you facilitate your business, right? And so you have to pay them right. And so don't try to undercut them. Like, work on that relationship as far as like you value their time and their efforts, because it's a lot. It's a big deal.
100%. I couldn't agree with you anymore. Definitely don't undercut them. And don't try to ask for discounts. I mean, if they're willing to give it to you, that's up to them. But
sure.
There's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's very hard, and it's a very competitive market nowadays.
For sure.
All right. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap it up. So again, just like a lot of things with the lender side, it is very important to shop around for a good realtor. Do not shaft them on their fees, but take into account recommendations from people that are in the industry, investors that are in the industry. And then as Saj kind of mentioned, you'll interview them. I mean, they're basically working for you. So, and trust me, they're working hard to get your business too. So they will hopefully give you the right answers. And, from there, this is kind of another step in the right direction in kind of getting your first property. But with that said, that is episode 30. Again, as always, subscribe, like, turn the notification on for YouTube so your next videos are alerted to you guys, and always comment, let us know, hey, what are some of your thoughts on realtors? I mean, is there certain things, or even if you have questions about realtors for us,
Right. Right. We definitely want to hear from you. Like, I think I've said this before, but we want this to be a conversation. Siju and I, we've done this a few times and we know what we know, but we don't know what we don't know. Right. So we need y'all to tell us your thoughts, your opinions, because it's valuable. It definitely is valuable. So please comment wherever you're watching this. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll definitely try our best to comment back.
Awesome. With that said, till next time, take it easy, guys.
Thanks for listening to Guts and Grind with Siju and Sajan. Be sure to tune in next time.